What do the President of the United States, the world's richest man, and the biggest YouTuber in the world all have in common? They are currently caught in the middle of the most expensive game of digital chess that we've ever seen play out. But here is what nobody is talking about. Let's cut through the noise. This TikTok ban, it's not about cat videos, about dancing bears, about national security. This is a power play. And today I'm going to discuss with you who stands to make billions if TikTok disappears overnight. Why should you care what I have to say? I'm an entrepreneur that runs a bunch of businesses in the real estate vertical. I'm hardcore into real estate sales and real estate investing and pay massive attention to finance, business, politics, and how things are coming together. What's crazy is I think this whole TikTok ban is a cross of all of these areas because, yes, it affects real estate. Yes, it affects small business. Yes, it affects the consumer. So I wanted to bring this to you today, even though this is a little different than most of our regular content. Part 1, the content empire. So first off, TikTok is not just an app. It's been one of the fastest growing attention machines in history. TikTok has experienced remarkable growth. In 2023 alone, its user base grew by 16% or 1.5 billion users globally. And some estimates and projections show that this could get over 2 billion users in 2024, with it continued pace to 2.35 billion by 2029. That translates to roughly a 21.6% growth from 2018 to 2029. So all the players are looking around and going, this attention machine is growing rapidly. What should we be doing? Even though growth has slowed, TikTok still remains one of the fastest growing social media platforms globally. In terms of active users, TikTok, by one study, was ranked with 1 billion active users monthly. This puts it right there in the top rankings. It ranks at number 6, right behind YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, WeChat, and Instagram. And understand that their user base is not evenly distributed. It's very dominant in Indonesia and in the United States. But what makes TikTok really interesting is its ability to take an unknown creator, an unknown individual, an unknown entrepreneur, and then catapult them right into the limelight, right into stardom, and help them to achieve fame like no one has ever seen before or achieved. TikTok was the start of the attention-based algorithm, not the popular-based algorithm. That has caused other platforms to be forced to redo their whole entire content strategy or to adopt their short-form content strategy. Part 2, the data game. During this debate about national security, about data, about the US versus China, everyone's talking about data privacy, but they're missing a bigger picture. TikTok's algorithm is not just about collecting data. They've built the most sophisticated algorithm and prediction engine ever. Think of this like Netflix on steroids, like Google on steroids. They seem to know what you want, how you want it, and how to keep you longer on the platform than anyone else. This is the real crux of this issue. This is where this power struggle is coming in. The real question is not, what does TikTok know about you? It's about who gets to use that knowledge. And are they going to use it for nefarious means or not? And what I mean by that is this isn't just location data. This isn't just your history of searches. This isn't just the topics you like or the areas that you were watching the videos in. TikTok's algorithm understands cultural movements before the general media even sees it coming. It's predicting with crazy accuracy what's going to go viral and what's going to be an invaluable tool for market research, trends, and forecasting. This platform's ability to shape consumer behavior has become so powerful that it started its own trends and killed trends faster than anything we've ever seen before. And I think that's how the politicians have been able to stoke these underlying fears. What if they interfered in an election? What if they got involved in some global finance market? What if they got involved in a terrorist event. These fears is how the politicians were able to ban TikTok. Now, that's going to happen here in the next few days unless something major steps in. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Part 3, the power players. Let's break down who the winners are going to actually be if TikTok goes dark. Meta, obviously, instant boost to Reels on both Facebook and Instagram. They have 2 platforms that are above them in the rankings. So obviously, they're the biggest fight here. YouTube Shorts becomes an even more viable platform. Snapchat could see a resurgence in more of their younger users as those eyeballs move away from TikTok. What happens here is American tech companies have eliminated one of their biggest competitive threats. This could possibly also allow some new US startup that we haven't thought about. Because if TikTok leaves the scene, it's going to create a vacuum where the users want to go somewhere, they want some type of content, and that creates opportunity for some new startup to step in. You can already see this happening with RedNote, which is another version of TikTok. It's seeing a rise in popularity as this TikTok ban starts to loom. Once it was voted on that the TikTok ban was going to happen, you could see these other platforms moving around in the background and positioning themselves to start to gobble up that user database. And they were ready for TikTok's downfall. Meta has been quietly building out their creator tools and their AI capabilities. YouTube has been aggressively courting those TikTok creators. What's really interesting was when you talk to creators, because I'm blessed having one of my co-hosts be in that YouTube space for the longest time, is that TikTok creators don't make as much money as YouTube creators. So it's funny that YouTube feels threatened by them, even though from a platform perspective, YouTube is more profitable. That long form content seems to have much more engagement, much more of a consistent audience, much more of a connection than that short form dopamine boost. But you can still see YouTube aggressively going after those audiences. I believe whatever platform that manages to capture TikTok's secret sauce in their algorithm will be the one that will dominate the next era of social media by giving the consumer what they want, understanding the consumer, and feeding them what they need quickly. Part 4, the cultural impact. But we've got to talk about the plot twist. What if banning TikTok backfires spectacularly? And we're not talking just about angry Gen Z voters. We're talking about a creator economic collapse. We're talking about digital culture fragmenting, and there not being a direct voice there for digital culture. We're talking about a loss of a platform that allowed different thoughts, dissenting thoughts, political discourse, activism. While Meta was silencing people, TikTok was allowing free speech. And until X or Twitter got bought by Elon, Twitter was doing the same thing. So I think one of the reasons that TikTok blossomed so much was they were allowing that expression of free thoughts, potential international retaliation. And yes, I'm talking about China. We're already getting ready to start a trade war with them. President Trump has said that's coming. He's talked about tariffs for everyone. What if this is an item that starts to kick off multiple international problems at a time when the economy is not on super strong footing? Lastly, what about the rise of potentially underground alternatives? What if one of these social networks bubbles out and takes hold, but it's just not as wholesome? Now, I get that, maybe the wrong choice of words. Wholesome is not necessarily the right word for social media. But what if it's got more bad actors? What if it's used for more nefarious purposes? And because this vacuum is going to leave that opportunity, this is a potential plot twist. And unfortunately, around TikTok, you've seen a lot of creators, a lot of real estate people, a lot of small business owners build this multi-billion-dollar industry where countless small businesses and creators are now depending on that platform for their livelihood. You see live sales really start to take off. You see these longer live interactions where people are on there, where they're creating community. I think TikTok has done that better than other platforms. And there's going to be that cultural void, that fragmentation of social media when that's left and those users are trying to disperse across other platforms. Furthermore, I believe this is showing that there could be over $1 billion a month in revenue lost to small businesses, because many of these small businesses have relied on TikTok as a channel, as a vertical to get their name out there. Look at those products like the handmade belts, like the homemade gum. And these are just things that pop up in my feed. I don't know what pops up in yours, but I'm seeing these little small businesses blow up on this platform and create opportunity for them. That's my fear. That takes away this opportunity. From a real estate perspective, I think this really helped with our marketing, with forcing creators to put out short form content that was entertaining, to show properties in a quick, timely fashion, for us to be able to interact with more people. I actually believe this hurts the real estate industry as a whole because it's removing an amazing marketing channel. Now, all of those people will immediately flock to other ones, but if they were dominant on this one, it's like someone just came by and said, your business is now closed. I think the problem with any small business being super dependent, whether it's real estate or your homemade chewing gum or your belt business or your sticker business, if you're only dependent on one platform and that platform changes or gets shut off, you are in trouble. One thing that we would recommend to everyone is you've got to start building an email database and you've got to start building a community so that you become platform agnostic. And that being platform agnostic allows you to deal with demonetization, with censorship, with being banned, with the platform being banned, whatever changes may come your way. Own your own audience. That's a secret. Part 5, the crazy twists. One of the things I think everyone is missing right now is what if it's not one of the usual suspects? What if the death of TikTok creates such a power vacuum that it gives birth to something entirely new and it makes the original TikTok look like MySpace? Now, I may be dating myself a little bit, but go Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. This power vacuum could spark a wave of innovation in social media, potentially giving rise to decentralized platforms. So no one platform can ban you. So you actually own your audience. So you can actually monetize your data. What if the next generation of social platforms are being built on blockchain technology, peer-to-peer networks? You have full control of your audience and they're movable as a community with you, fundamentally changing this idea of content sharing and your digital rights and your digital sovereignty. Part 6, the big public figures. What if the president steps in? And I'm actually talking about Biden or Trump. There's been rumors that President Biden has been talking with his advisors about possibly saving TikTok. President Trump clearly won the election because he was able to get out there on TikTok. Whoever was in his advisory group who advised him to reach the young people on TikTok did a phenomenal job doing that. And I believe he doesn't want to get rid of this platform because of that version of free speech. President Trump probably won't have time because he's not into office, but it doesn't mean after he gets into office by executive order, he couldn't just put a stay on the ban for 60 days to give a cooling off period to give time to figure it out. Because when you go and listen to the justices ask questions about this, and they're talking about this idea of free speech, they're talking about this idea of this is the only foreign app that's being attacked. And these justices are asking thoughtful questions, and you can hear them being inquisitive. Instead of literally just saying no or shutting it down, there's an actual possibility this may not get banned. On that argument of free speech, what are your thoughts? Hit me in the comments with that one. I don't know where I stand on that one, so I'd love to know where you guys stand. Reportedly, Chinese officials had even considered Elon Musk to buy TikTok. Some reports suggested the possibility of selling TikTok's U.S. operations to Musk as a way to avoid the complete ban, possibly even as a little chip, a little peace offering to President Trump, because they know that Musk is hanging out with Trump and they're trying to soften the blow of the tariffs. Yeah, there's a little conspiracy theory in this one. TikTok has denied these reports, calling them pure fiction, and Musk himself has not commented publicly about whether he would be interested in buying TikTok or not buying TikTok. One of the things to consider if he was allowed to buy TikTok. What level of user and consumer data does now he have access to with Tesla, with X, formerly known as Twitter? Look at all that AI data. Look at what he could build with all of that information, which also leads to additional regulatory hurdles, which leads to additional concerns, which is probably going to make Musk's opponents extremely wary of this and try to prevent that, because I believe that's just going to consolidate his power more. What if Mr. Beast buys it? Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, has publicly expressed interest in buying TikTok to prevent it from being banned in the US. He even tweeted, "Okay, fine, I'll buy TikTok so it doesn't get banned." Initially, this was a playful comment, and there are initial reports that Mr. Beast went and contacted a billionaire so he would be able to pull this deal off. He even posted a video on TikTok telling everyone to check their inbox, and I'm buying TikTok. However, with his current net worth of around $500 million and TikTok being valued at $300 billion, an acquisition by just Mr. Beast alone does not seem possible. He would have to bring in outside investors, and it remains to be seen whether he was serious or this is just a publicity stunt, and if he could actually secure the funding, and if TikTok would be willing to sell it. But this is just my analysis by an individual who loves finance, loves business, uses TikTok, and loves social media. What do you think? Are we witnessing the end? Is this the end of an era? Is someone going to pop up? Is the government going to step in and slow this ban down? Is President Trump going to do that? Is Elon going to buy it? Is Mr. Beast going to buy it? And what's going to happen to our culture here in the United States as things change? For more dives into business, finance, politics, how things work, hit that subscribe button so we can connect more. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, because this is one of those crazy ones that I didn't see coming. I actually thought the ban would have been prevented by now. And now we're at the 11th hour, and it looks like it's going to go through unless something major happens and changes.